Hi everyone, it's Lillian here, and I have a fun technique to share with you today. It's one I discovered a few weeks ago. It was shared by an Australian demonstrator named Tracy Bish. That's where I first saw it anyway. And then I've been playing with it a little bit. So I'd like to share that with you, and then I'd love to see what you come up with. So let's go down to my desk. And guess it would help if I didn't put my fingers right in front of it. Here we go. There we go, like that. And I'm going to get this going. And I see Judy's on. Hi, Judy. Good to see you. And let me just see if I can get the comment section up so I know when people are talking. We'll give it a try. Say hi if you're watching, please. And I love to hear from you. So what I am going to focus on today is this embossing folder right here. It's on page 53 of the mini catalog, and it's a cobweb 3D embossing folder. Now, this caught my eye not just because of Halloween, because I don't tend to do a lot except for maybe some treat things with Halloween. But this works for Spider-Man, nature types of things with some trees in front, all kinds. It's more than Halloween is what I'm trying to say. Now 3D, I'll talk about that in a minute. That's important to zero in on. So let's just tuck that to the side. And I want to show you how you can turn plain cardstock, in this case I'm using black, into this. Isn't that gorgeous? Totally changes it. And you can see little hints of the cardstock behind, but I just love that. So I want to share with you how to go about creating. There are two versions you can create, and we're going to create the other version and then create something with it. So it's like making your own designer paper. So first off, I am going to bring in, first off, I better get my orders right here. First off, I'm going to bring in some scrap paper and the embossing folder. And I am going to also bring in Versamark ink. And we're going to take this ink and we're going to press it all over one side of the embossing folder. I'm going to choose this side. And you want it all over. Notice I'm putting my finger, pardon me, putting my finger right here in the center to get pressure in the middle as well and not just in the edges. There, that's looking pretty sticky. So we'll put that to the side and bring in that black paper piece that I was waving around. Now I don't want to smear, so I'm actually going to put it down on the side I didn't ink up. This one doesn't matter if it's straight or not because it's such a random design. So close it up, get rid of the scrap paper, and bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Now this, remember I said, was a 3D embossing folder, so it's one of the thick ones. I put a little sticker on all my 3D ones just so that I remember. And then if I look at the bottom plate of the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and it's here, so using with 3D embossing folders, you want to put plate 4, then the embossing folder and the, make sure I'm in the picture, then the embossing folder with the paper, and then the platform. So here's the platform. Here's the embossing folder, and I'm putting the folded side in first. And then I am bringing in plate 4. Now this is a specialty plate. It really makes all the difference in the world. And if you don't have that, it's a minimal cost and it is wonderful. So specialty plate, it's on page 172 of the annual catalog, and here it is right here. Now you might say, well, I have the blue plate from before. That is the same. So if you have the blue plate, you've got it. If you do not have the blue plate and you do not have the specialty plate and you love doing 3D embossing, you're going to want this. It makes your life so much easier. You can use shims and things, but this is what makes your life so much easier. And it's only $15. So there we go. We're going to run it through and then tuck it out of the way we go. So it's like this. Now we're going to take it out, and I'm going to bring that scrap paper back in again. So this is the side that has the embossing powder on. To clean this, I'd run it under the tap, maybe add a little bit of dish soap, and it will clean right off. So now I'm going to bring in the embossing powder and just sprinkle it all over. I just keep it in a container. It doesn't come in a container like this, it comes in a smaller one, but I like to dump it into here and keep a spoon, and then it's just easy to go. So see how it's sticking? There we go. So trying not to put my fingers in the embossing powder. Here we go. I don't know about you, but I love it when I can find other ways of extending, I guess is the word I'm looking for, the use of the things that I have. My different tools, the different things that I have. The more ways I can use it, the better. Now I'm going to bring in my mat. Normally I don't do this right on the camera, but when I'm just creating on my own, of course. But when I'm creating on camera, I like you to be able to see the magic. So I'll bring in my heat tool, and it's going to be noisy, so just hang in there with me. And it gets really hot, so you don't want to get your fingers in the way. Now I'm holding my heat tool pretty much straight up and down, and it's starting to heat. And are you seeing the magic happen? Notice I'm not waving my heat tool around. I'm sort of following the magic as it melts that powder and creates that metallic look. So here we go. Oh, this is so much fun. I love it. Now, I would not use this heat tool over a carpet or over your clothing or over your dining room table or anything that's important to you, because it is extremely hot and will melt. And you're asking, how do I know? Well, I have melted a carpet or two, a spot, not the whole carpet. I have put a hole in my clothes, that kind of thing. So just learn from my experience and practice what I preach, not what I do, a little bit. There we go, it's coming. Now, it cools fairly soon, but that is a lot of embossing, so I'm going to give it a minute to cool as we put it aside. Now for this one, I put the Versamark on this side, the side that has stamping up on the embossing folder. When I did this one, I put it on this side. So you get a different look each time. Can you imagine if you tried it with some of your other embossing folders, like this greenery one? Can you imagine that done like that? Or this hammered metal? Wouldn't that look neat? I think so. So look through your embossing folders and experiment a little bit. So now I've got these pieces. What am I going to do with them? Well, I've been focusing on treat holders this week. I just got to clean some of this away and bring in my mat here. And I actually yesterday or the day before revisited a treat holder I made years ago and haven't made for a while. And if you're like me, it's like discovering something brand new all over again. It works like a matchbook, pardon me, not box. And then you staple a treat inside. So there's one, and I was experimenting with some pieces from this one here, on here. Here's one that was done just with designer paper and going across the bottom. So we're going to do another one today. So I'm going to bring your measurements in. First off, you're going to need a piece of cardstock. I'm going to use basic black because I like how it looks with this here. So this is 3 by 7 3/4. Now you would adjust that to your treat size, but this works pretty well with this treat size. It would work very well with this. For treats, you need something that you can staple one end. So that's what it is. So this is 3 by 7 3/4, and I'm going to score it at 3/8, 4 and 4 1/2. So that's one. Then I'm going to bring in another piece of paper, in other words, this paper here, and it's going to be cut at 2 1/2 by 2 3/4. And then I've got a little skinny piece that's 1/2 by 3, and this piece is going to go along here, and I'm going to tell you why when we get there. I want a piece there. And then I've got some scraps. I'm also featuring 2 stamp sets, well, 2 bundles actually. This banner here is a bundle that you can see. Where did I put my catalog? I put things down, and then I think I'm ready, and then I'm not. So that one is featured on page 65 of the mini catalog. So here is the stamp set here, and you can get it as a bundle with this Banners Pick-a-Punch. I use this all the time. I really, really like it. So that is one bundle we're using part of today. And then the other bundle is one I even did a class on. It's called the Everything Essential Bundle. So again, you've got stamps that cover all different seasons. And then you have this great punch with it. So you can either buy individually or buy as a bundle and save 10%. So we're going to use these 2 stamp sets with the accompanying punches. I love punches because even if you don't have a stamp and cut and emboss machine, you can create wherever you go. So let's first off bring in my Simply Scored and do the scoring. And you said, well, what about your paper trimmer? Either works well, but when I'm doing multiple scores, I often like to use this. Or if I'm preparing for a class, this is my best friend. So it's in 1/8 increments, they're little troughs for every one. And so I'm going to score first off at 3/8, and then I'm going to score at 4. So I'm at the 4, and then at 4 1/2. So then I can take that and put it away. And then I am going to cut that piece of paper, this here, at 2 1/2 by 2 3/4. Okay, let's go 2 1/2. By 2 3/4. And we can put that away. So now I have my basic pieces. So let's bring in this, and what we're going to do is find our bone folder underneath all these spider webs, and we're going to fold in and burnish, and we're just going to keep folding in. There's no zigzagging, it's just going in. And then one more time, always make sure to line up your edges because sometimes they can go wonky on you. So now we've got it like that. And if you're a visual person, you can see that this would tuck in there, and we've already got the matchbook effect going on. It's just a matter of decorating it. So first off, I am going to put this down here, and this is where I haven't really done the whole thing yet. So we're going to create together a little bit, and I was going to put ribbon across there, but I already did that. I wonder. Let's just see if I put some ribbon down. I decided to use this ribbon because it's black with all that sparkle in it, and it kind of went so with it, I thought. So let's put some glue dots on the end of this ribbon and see if we can wrap it around Now I need to go on like that, and I want my ribbon up a little higher. Well, I was generous with the ribbon, that's for sure. Okay, we'll stick that down like that. Ooh, nice and sticky. Those of you who have crafted with me before know I always keep a rag or a paper towel nearby. So this is a time it's going to be very handy. Then I'm just going to center it on the flap. Not, whoops, I am really sticky. So this is what would tuck under. Okay, so I'm centering it on there. I'm going to turn it over and press really hard, because with that dimension on the embossing folder plus the embossing, it needs a good stick down. Now while that is setting, I am going to bring in, what did I do with my scrap paper? Did I put it away or did I bury it? Oh, I put it over here. Had it out, then I needed some room while I was preparing for you and moved it. So one of the things that I wanted to do was to stamp a pumpkin. And I don't know, I know that pumpkins are normally in pumpkin pie or an orangey color, but I really like purples and greens. Granny apple green and gorgeous grape, I think, work really well with the black. So I'm going to actually have a purple pumpkin stamped in black. You obviously can do whatever you want, so you could make it whatever color, but this is what I'm going for. Now I'm going to stamp the pumpkin before punching, and the reason is it's easier to center this, except that I cut my paper too small, so I'm going to put a little handle on it. I'm going to use a sticky note of some sort and slide it in, and what do you think? I think that looks pretty good. There we go. Then I can use that again. And I just love Granny Apple Green with the purple with Highland Heather. I'm going to stamp another one out of Granny Apple Green and then tuck that away, and I can get rid of that paper. And I'm going to bring in the word boo. Now boo is actually, so the pumpkin came from here. I love that. And the boo came from here. So there's happy fall, you all, happy haunting. There's a bat, there's a pumpkin face, pumpkin stem, spider web. Then there are all kinds of other things. So I've done a whole set of cards. I went to a class with this, and at the end, I'm hoping I remember to show it to you. But right now, I am going to bring in my stamp pad. And this here, because I'm thinking, not sure how it's going to work, that I'm going to offset it like that. So I want something back here. So let's see, where is, oh, my Granny Apple Green is actually put away. Surprise, surprise. So let's ink that up. And I so appreciate all of you who leave comments, who share my Facebook posts. That's how we get out there. For those of you who didn't follow Joanne last night, I know a lot of you follow both of us, and Marilyn as well. Facebook smacked her fingers a little bit for having contests and giving prizes, so I'm not able to do that anymore, but let's just say I will look at your comments as you leave them. So, and if you still share, and let me know when you share, I still would like to know that. Just saying. Okay, I think I am going to offset that so that the boo peeks out. And I could even go like that. Okay, let's do that. I'm going to glue dot them together just for the speed here. Let's try to get that in position again, like that. And I'm just going to glue dot it again to here. Just going to rest it. Let me just see. Has to be, maybe more of an angle, and I'll explain why in a minute. And needs a little something, so I think I'll just tie a knot in here. Give it a trim and tuck it there. There we go. Another glue dot. Me and my glue dots. I do love them. There we go. So now, how do we, and I could put something else under here. I think I'll add one more glue dot under there just to hold it down. There we go. So now how do we put the treat inside? So you bring in your treat, and you bring in a stapler, and you just tuck it down in there like that. So did you see how that went? So it's down to the fold like that, down as far as it'll go. Now when you staple, you want to get pretty close to here, the bottom of the towards the fold, so that the top can still slide under here. I like to staple it upside down because I have too many times in my life injured myself on the other side of the staple. You know how this can catch sometime. So I'm a little paranoid about that. I even take my bone folder and push it down. So now there's the closure. So there, that's it. Now we just need to finish this off. So I'm going to bring in that 1/2 by 3 piece of paper. It's going to go down here. See that? I'm going to bring in this punch. It's 1/2 inch. Now these punches will cut at 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch, or 1 inch, and they're little troughs here. I'm going to slide it down because I cut it at 1/2 inch, and that, well, it helps if I unlock it. There we go, all the way. I always like to check to make sure it's straight, but it looks pretty straight. And then I'm going to flip that around and put it here. And I press down so it gets right down in the trough. It makes it a good guide. There we go. So now I have got a big mess. No, that too. And this is going to cover up those staples so nobody gets hurt. I just want to stamp on it, and I think I forgot to get that stamp out. I don't see it on my desk. Well, it's on my desk somewhere now, isn't that? Oh, here it is, right here. So this one says, "A treat so sweet." So I'm going to ink that up in black, just like I did the pumpkin. Now here is the challenge. Do this without getting my head in the camera. There, I did it. Phew. Put the lid on before I put my fingers in there. And I'm actually, I could either use the green glue, the multi-purpose liquid glue, or my tear and tape. And I'm actually going to use my tear and tape here, just because that is so bumpy with the staples. I want to really hold it down well. So take your pick tool, peel this off. Sometimes when I'm doing this, it's like a quiz for me. How much correct terminology can I say? There we go. So there it is. So you can see how easy this would be. A little crooked, yeah. But it's down. I'll have to heat that up and fix it. How easy this would be for any occasion. You could actually make it out of designer paper totally, and then just put a little embellishment on it, whatever. So that's how you do it. It's that easy. So here are a couple of the others that I made using those two same bundles. Now let me show you. Remember I said this and this, I took a class. So let me show you the things that we made in the class. So all of these are made from this, and I love both of these because they are so multi-purpose. They cover so many seasons. So on this one here, I stamped the little squirrel, the leaves, the acorn, and it's "Happy Fall, you all." So that's a card that I made from that. Well, yeah, so here is a Christmas card I made with that. So again, the punches, notice how this punch goes out and then this punch goes in, and so does this. And then the simple little berries and then some embellishments like that. This one here is a Valentine's one, and I really like the design of this card. It opens like this, but this is raised up. So this little panel here is raised up like that. So that's a neat design right there, like that. And then we made this little box. So it's got a belly band around it. I'm all about belly bands this week. And inside, we just made one, but you could make a whole set of 3x3 cards and envelopes. Just trying to get it out. So here is Christmas wishes, and using that like that, and then the little envelope to match. So just some cute ways of using that and showing other uses for it. The other thing to remember is that this week there is the stamping, this month, designer paper is on sale. 15 different designer papers, basically any designer paper that isn't a specialty. So it doesn't have flocking, it doesn't have gold or silver or copper. So they're all on sale for 15% off for just till the end of the month. So do take advantage of that. And that's it for today. So hope you have fun. Do make some. I love when you share what you make. And like I said, take it for whatever occasion you want. It doesn't have to be this. But here is a neat technique to try with your embossing folders. So have fun, take care, and thank you. Bye-bye.